We're here with Jason Hassert, owner of the Toy Tractor Times. He brought his nice display here to the 2014 Gateway Mid-America Toy Show. Jason, would you tell us more about it, please?
Sure, it's great to be at the show, and usually I'm the person behind the camera, and I thought it would be fun to bring a mini display out to the show, something that you can transport easily. And I grew up in Western New York State, and I wanted to show corn chopping from a time period when I grew up near Rochester, New York, and it's early October. We have a cornfield out here that the frost has just come and started to kill off. We can see the trees are starting to turn into the fall colors. Where I grew up, there's a farm named Coleman Farms in Churchville, New York, and I grew up watching their Case 2470 Traction King. They bought it in 1977. What was great about these tractors was it was a good four-wheel drive for plowing, but it also could be used for PTO work like chopping corn in the fall or doing hay. We have a New Holland chopper, dump wagon, and the spruce wood trucks are painted in the colors that Coleman Farms with the red fenders and the white trucks. What I wanted to do now that Top Shelf Replicas is producing corn, I wanted to show the three varieties that Top Shelf is offering. So this is the same brand of corn that you can buy at Hobby Lobby, and Top Shelf also asked the company to make it in the fall golden color. And then also there's immature corn, and the way I showed that on the display was out here. We have a low spot in Western New York. There's a lot of springs and areas that hold water, so I wanted to show a washed out spot or maybe something they planted later that didn't quite make it before the killing frost. I also used the same immature corn along the fence row for a detail where the trees have kind of shaded it. It didn't kind of grow on the outside two rows, to kind of work that in and out through the fence line. Chris from SW Farms helped me do some static grass to give a little more detail to the fence row. One of the things I like to use is lemon pepper. That kind of just shows some of the early fall leaves falling in the grass here in the fence line. And also Western New York has a lot of rocks throughout the field, so we always like to show a little rock pile where the rock picker in the spring dumps some of the stones out. The other neat thing I wanted to do before we had the availability of all this corn from Top Shelf was we're all kind of forced to show here's the last pass in the field. This time I wanted to show a very thick field and the tractor actually opening up the field. So as we look, we've got the truck following it up the row. This is probably maybe a 60-acre field, and they're just kind of unfortunately have to drive over the stalks and then turn around and try to lift some up. What I tried to show on the fence row was where the tractor came back on where he ran over the first pass and had to weave in and out on the stalks. Even though this board is probably about 36 inches by 36 inches, there are actually about 2,400 corn stalks out in the field, and there are 1,000 toothpicks here in the headland, and then the three rows where the chopper is running up the field. So it's been a lot of fun just to show a little bit of history. And another reason I picked the Case 2470, that was the very first tractor I ever rode in as a kid growing up, so I've always had an affinity for those, and it's just fun to show that off.
Very nice.
So I hope a lot of people will come out to St. Louis in 2015 and bring their displays.
Thanks, Jason.